Hey guys, it's Sammy. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 15th of January 2020. I said it right that time to talk about AEW Dynamite, or should I say AEW Bash at the Beach, because that's what this show is called, Bash at the Beach from the Wasco Center in Miami, Florida. I thought the show was actually pretty good tonight. I really enjoyed most of the stuff. The women's match I felt went a little too long and dragged at some points. But other than that, I thought the show itself was really good. Let's see who's here with us in the live chat. Before we do get going, we do have Dorian Abercrombie, Jack Dawson, Henry Cavallo. You changed your name. You took out the McKenna. Jason Dalton, Vegeta Lover 92. We've got Jack Dawson, George John Cox, Woken King Slender, Aubrey Austin Jr., Eric Clark, and so many more of you. Again, like I said, I thought tonight's AEW was a pretty good show. If you guys want to let me know what you guys thought of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, you can text in to 510-906-1341. The number is in the live chat. Give me one moment here to fix something, guys, and then we'll be good to go. Give me 2 seconds, guys. All right. We should be good to go now. All right, so as far as tonight's show goes, I really enjoyed it. There was a last-minute change where Awesome Kong was supposed to wrestle on the show, and she actually got sick. She wasn't injured or anything. She was just sick. And because she was sick, she was unable to compete. Doctors would not medically clear her, and so Brandy had to take her spot. Brandy Rhodes, that is. And I mean, Brandy was passable in the match. She was okay. But I just thought it was a match. Could have been a lot better. George John Cox. We did not do a Tuesday night show because we've got something new coming. We're kind of changing things up a little bit with the Tuesday show after we've hit episode 100. More information to come. But as far as Dynamite goes, they opened the show with what I believed should have been the main event. It was just a banger of a match. It was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match that saw the Young Bucks, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, the Best Friends, and Santana and Ortiz all battle it out to become number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, where the winners will face SCU next week on the boat, the Jericho Cruise. And like I said, this was a hell of an opening contest. So Nick Jackson hit a springboard arm drag on Trent early. Taylor and Page got hot tags. Page went for a fall-away slam. Omega and Nick worked together as Nick hit a springboard double stomp. The announcers kind of played it up like it was weird that Omega and Nick were working together and Omega wasn't working more with his partner Page. The Bucks then hit a double back handspring and double drop kick. Matt hit Trent with 4 straight bridging suplexes. Trent hit a tornado DDT. Taylor got a tag and hit a suplex on Matt. Matt then got cut off from here. Trent and Taylor hit a soul food half and half suplex combination. Ortiz hit a flip dive through the second ropes. And Santana hit a tope over the top rope. Santana hit 2 amigos on Matt. Picked Matt up for a stalling suplex. Then landed him off Ortiz to complete the move. Matt then hit a springboard cutter and tagged Omega. Omega hit Snapdragon on Santana, and Ortiz, and Trent. Omega hit the Can't Escape. Page hit a standing shooting star press. Omega hit a moonsault. Page hit a dive off the post to the floor. Santana hit a tope. Nick hit a slingshot facebuster. Nick and Taylor hit topes. Trent then hit a superplex on Matt off the post to the floor onto all the other men at ringside. Crazy ass move there. Back inside the ring, Trent hit a one-legged dropkick on Omega. The ref took a bump. All 8 guys jumped in the ring and teased an 8-way suplex spot. Orange Cassidy then jumped in and assisted Santana and Ortiz and the Best Friends, hitting a 5-on-4 suplex. Best Friends hit Omega with strong 0. The Best Friends the Bucks broke up the pin. Omega then jumped in for a big move. The Bucks threw a super kick party. Nick teased a Meltzer driver, but hit a Asai moonsault instead. Page then blind tagged himself in, tagging Matt. Omega hit a V-trigger on Taylor. Omega and Page then hit a combination V-trigger buckshot lariat and pinned Chuck Taylor to pick up the victory and become the number 1 contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Like I stated, these two will now move on next week to face SCU on the Jericho Cruise. Cody came out next and cut a promo. He asked for MJF's stipulations to be on the screen. He addressed each one by one. He did a lot of insider lingo in his promo. He said he's been in factions and had his pop stolen. He said MJF had pageant parents who paraded him on the Rosie O'Donnell show at age 7. He was given everything that he wanted. He said old school guys like MJF and called him a true old school heel. And they say less is more. But really, MJF does less because he's not able to do more. Cody says that MJF should be carrying Wardlow's bags because once Wardlow takes the suit off and everybody sees what he looks like in the ring, MJF will look inferior. Cody then said that I accept all of MJF's stipulations and promise to give him his own goddamn scar. Cody then did his... So Undertaker used to do a line that says, come at me, or says something along the lines of like, come at me, I'll make you famous. It was most notably used in the DDP thing, when DDP was stalking Undertaker's ex-wife, Sarah, saying, Undertaker, make me famous. Well, Cody used his own line similar to that, saying, Max, or MJF, I'm going to give you your star. Very similar to Undertaker's old line, where he'd say, I'd make you famous, where this time, he would say, Max, I'm going to make you a star. Good promo. I don't know about taking the Undertaker catchphrase and making it his own, though. So Joey Janela cut a pre-tape promo. He said it's New Year's, but the first time everyone saw him and his face on TV this year, he was getting punched in the balls by his ex-girlfriend. He said Penelope Ford could only make a name for herself or get herself over by mentioning him. He said Penelope was a new side piece for Kip Sabian. He dared Sabian to cross the line in front of him and see what happens when he does. He said last year he had a bad record, but he's going to change all that next week on the ship when he takes on Rey Fenix. He said he's the backbone of AEW and everyone will see why everyone calls Janela a bad boy. I think this should be a pretty good match. I don't know if it'd be a great match, but Joey Janela is a hell of a worker. Rey Fenix is one of the best workers they have, so I think this could be a fun match. We then had Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida taking on Brandy Rose and Mel with Dr. Luther in their corner, and this match did not need to go as long as it did. At all. So Dr. Luther jumped in Shida's path as she entered the ring. Mel and Brandy doubled up on Statlander in the ring. Shida used a kendo stick to fend off Luther to clear the ring, and then the match began. Mel and Shida started off slowly. Mel hit some strikes. Shida hit a Rana, sending Mel to the outside. Statlander hit a moonsault on the floor. Shida then did her jumping knee off of a chair on the floor. Mel ended up back on offense, back in the ring. Mel and Brandy used some classic heel tag team spots, taking the ref, phantom tags, and stuff like that, working over Shida. Crowd was dead. Completely dead through most of this match. Shida selling got the crowd into it a little bit, getting them to chant for her. But like I said, for a lot of this, they were quiet. I think they really just wanted to see Statlander jump in. After the break, Shida hit her running knee. Statlander and Brandy finally tagged in. Statlander hit a high kick for a near fall on Mel, or for a near fall on Brandy, and Mel made the save. Sheeta hit a missile dropkick to Mel. Brandy hit Statlander with a spear and went for the pin. Crowd still dead. Mel then hit a black hole slam for a near fall. Sheeta hit Mel with a superplex. Statlander hit a running knee for a 1. Statlander hit a standing moonsault for another near fall. Statlander hit a package tombstone and finally picked up the victory. Brandy berated Mel on the floor after the loss. The match was laid out well, I guess. Like, when you look at how the match was supposed to go, as far as what happened, it was okay, but the crowd just was not into this at all, and it really took me out of that, and I think it did go a little too long. We then get a Dark Order hype video. The Unseen Leader mentioned Michael Nakazawa and Hangman Page as potential recruits. I think on BTE this week, they also teased Brandon Cutler again. Sammy Guevara entered the ring. He did his cue cards during a commercial break in the picture-in-picture. The card said Moxley gave Sammy an ulcer and he needs to pay. I like this match a lot. Guevara hit a shotgun dropkick right at the opening bell. Moxley cut him off with a lariat. Moxley hit a springboard cutter and a tope. Guevara teased a top rope elbow and landed on his feet and taunted Moxley. Guevara hit another lariat and a regal knee, then used the X-Plex for a 2 count. Moxley teased a paradigm shift on the apron, but Guevara blocked it and came off the top with double knees, sending Moxley to the floor. Guevara sent Moxley into the barricade. Back inside, Guevara used a drop toe hold and choked Moxley with the ropes. They went back and forth during the break. Guevara hit a Samoan drop for a near fall. They brawled on the floor. Guevara teased a top rope splash, but got cut off. Moxley then hit a superplex. After a commercial break, Guevara landed on his feet out of a German and hit a standing shooting star press for a 2. Guevara then used knee strikes to get another 2 count. The finish of the match saw Guevara go to the top. He went for a moonsault. Moxley cut him off coming off the top and locked in a rear naked choke and a body scissors. Guevara then tapped out. So I forgot to mention, this is a tournament match. The winner moves on to next week on the Jericho Cruise to face either Darby Allin or Pac in a number 1 contenders match. I thought this match was really good, really fun. Afterwards, Jericho's music hits. The lights went out. When the lights came back on, Jericho, Hager, Santana, and Ortiz were all in the ring. They trapped Moxley and basically beat him down and just mugged him. Santana and Ortiz used their loaded sock on Moxley. Guevara slapped him across the face. Hager hit him with a dirty-looking running low blow. Jericho then cut a promo after a break. He promised to do something to Jungle Boy next week that he did to Moxley tonight. And what did he do? After making several jokes about Moxley not being able to keep an eye on him, he stabbed him in the eye with one of the spikes off of his jacket. Literally stabbed Moxley in the eye. Officials and doctors came down quickly to check on Moxley. Crazy. Very, very, I guess you could say, over the top, but not in a bad way. Trying to damn blind the motherfucker. We come back from a break, and Jim Ross says, he starts talking, he goes, wait, I'm getting word from we're getting sent to the back, there's chaos in the back. And there was no chaos. It was the Inner Circle walking in the back, and Jen Decker runs up and goes, Jericho, what was that all for? Jericho just cuts a promo, saying he's going to do the same thing to Jungle Boy next week. Moxley better watch out. Basically it. So then we got a 6-man tag. It was MJF, the Butcher and the Blade, with the Bunny, taking on DDP, Dustin Rhodes, and QT Marshall. MJF came out wearing a shirt that said, I banged Dallas's daughter. And then JR called him Matthew. No words. So MJF teased, starting this off with DDP, but then begged off. MJF and QT Marshall started instead. QT hit a springboard crossbody. Wardlow passed MJF his ring, and he used it to punch QT. Dustin got a tag and got a bit of shine before being cut off. They worked over Dustin through a commercial break. After the break, DDP got the hot tag. Crowd went nuts. He hit lariats on all three heels. He did a diamond cutter on the Butcher. He went do one on MJF, but MJF hit him with a low blow. DDP tagged out. Dustin then hit a destroyer on MJF. DDP jumped in and hit MJF with a diamond cutter. Dustin covered and only got a 2 because the Blade made the save. Dustin and QT then hit dives. Page then hit a dive off the post to the floor onto all 5 guys. Yeah, 60-something-year-old DDP jumping off the top to the floor. Poof, I didn't expect that. QT Marshall then climbed back inside. MJF used a schoolboy on QT and picked up the victory. I think this was just great. I thought everybody did everything perfectly. Everything that they were supposed to do, they did without a hitch. QT's base flying tiger drop looked a lot better than it has in the past as well. Hangman interrupted the... Oh, no. There's something I missed here. DDP wrestled without a shirt. Didn't look cosmetically all that great. He's a little pale, but hey. He hasn't had a match since 2016. Hasn't really been a full-time competitor since like 2011. So what are you gonna say? He looked good. He didn't look like, a full-time wrestler. I digress. Jen Decker was backstage with SCU. Hangman interrupted with a drink in his hand, and I guess he was drunk already since his match. He started talking trash to SCU before Omega intervened. Not sure what the point of that was at all. And then I think they noted that the tag title match will be the main event next week on the boat. Again, not exactly sure why that needed to happen. I think it would have been a lot better if it was just SCU saying, hey, we see who's coming at us. We see who's challenging us next week. We take on this challenge. We take on all comers. Bada boom. Didn't need a drunk Page and then Omega coming in to say, hey, sorry, my buddy's not stable. So then we got our main event. It was Pac versus Darby Allin. This was a lot of fun. They did a tackle, drop down, leapfrog segment at the onset. Pac kicked up, hit Allin with a drop kick. Allin hit a shotgun drop kick and teased an apron dive. Pac sidestepped, so Allin jumped back inside and hit a tope suicida. Allin teased a Hurricane Rana off the apron. Pac caught him and slammed him onto the steps instead. Pac hit a powerbomb on the steps during a commercial break. Pac continued beating Allin around ringside after the break. Pac hit a missile dropkick and a near fall. Pac teased something off the top rope, but Allin turned it into a crucifix bomb. Pac rolled outside. Allin hit a coffin drop onto the floor. Allin hit a backpack stunner and a code red for a near fall. Allin teased a baseball slide. Pac pulled him into the ring skirt and then hit a high kick. Pac hit a lariat and Allin took a flip bump. Pac covered for a 2. Allin used a Mostrel cradle for a 2 count. They traded cradles here for a minute before Allin tried a springboard coffin drop. Pac caught him and hit a high angle powerbomb for a 2. Allin was taking absolute beating in like the second half of this match, and that coffin dropped to the floor like I stated earlier. Ow. Pac then climbed to the top. Allin jumped up there and tried a superplex, but Pac fought him off. He then hit the Black Arrow for the victory. Good fun little main event here. After the match, Tony Schiavone interviewed Pac. Tony announced the next week's match between Pac and Moxley would be a number 1 contenders match. Pac said, no, Mox is out. I win by forfeit. He said, then, that means I'm coming for Jericho. Tony Schiavone said, I need to throw it to the back. Moxley was being loaded into an ambulance. Moxley then broke out of the ambulance and came out onto the stage with his head all bandaged up and his eye covered. Blood all on his face and his chest. He said he doesn't care if he's blind. He's going to win. He's going to kick Pac's ass. I found it a little corny, to be honest. I'm going to take you on even if I can't see you. Whatever. Mox was kicking his way out of the ambulance, but it was very 90s wrestling. That's what I wrote here in my notes. It was all right. I hope Moxley doesn't still have the head wrap next week. And where'd the blood come from? I get he got poked in the eye or stabbed in the eye, but there was no blood when they were checking on him the first time. So I don't know. But overall, I thought it was a really good show. I do want to give my condolences to the Johnson family, though. If you guys have not heard, today, Rocky Johnson passed away at the age of 75. Rocky Johnson was one of the first African-American men to win WWF Tag Team Championships. He was also inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2008 by his son, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Rocky Johnson was ahead of his time as far as African-American wrestlers go and getting opportunities and stuff. So I do want to give my condolences to the Johnson family, as he did pass away today at the age of 75. Of course, Vegeta, I know it's fake blood, but we didn't see blood earlier, right when the injury occurred. So it just kind of meh. Do you have a text message here? Do you want to read? This person does state, do you think Tessa Blanchard will be the greatest Impact World Champion in the next Impact pay-per-view Rebellion against Sami Callihan in April if she gets lucky? I mean, it was okay that they put the title on her. It was very expected. I know as of last Friday, they hadn't officially agreed on that finish. They were still going back and forth if she was going to get the title. Then Saturday, when everything happened, they were iffy again, but they ended up going with Tessa. I think it'll be okay. It's something different, and they need to do something different to keep their name out there. If you're unaware, Impact got banned today off of Twitch. They aired a very, very not suitable for work segment last night on their show. And Twitch, especially ever since they were bought by Amazon, it's been very strict on any kind of sexual nudity, and this had all of it. Sexual, pornography, nudity. It was all there in this segment. Also, before we go, we got to tell you that this live stream is sponsored by none other than Strong Style Brand. Strong Style Brand is one of the fastest growing pro wrestling clothing brands out there today. They are represented by many different professional wrestlers, including former Impact Wrestling World Champion Sami Callihan. Head over to strongstylebrand.com/PWUnlimited today to get 10% off of your purchase. They've got cool t-shirts, cool hats, shoes, tank tops, hoodies, everything you would want. They've got over there at strongstylebrand.com. Again, head over to strongstylebrand.com/PWUnlimited today, and you will get 10% off of your purchase. If you don't do that, if you forget the /PWUnlimited, use PWUnlimited at checkout where it says use the coupon code, and you will be supporting us directly when you do purchase some cool items from Strong Style Brand. So with that, that's going to wrap up tonight's live stream talking about AEW Dynamite, AEW A Bash at the Beach. Sorry, I was reading something in the live chat, but I want to say thank you to everybody who did join me here live, and everybody who watches later right here on YouTube or listens on podcast services all around the world. We will be live again Friday night for our Friday night SmackDown review. We will have an NXT review as well this week, I promise. And so with that, I want to say good night, and we'll see you again later.